Good morning, it's Father Joshua here. Welcome back from your half-term holiday. Now, our themes for Assembly between now and Christmas are going to look at two themes: hope and compassion. Today, we're going to start off by looking at compassion. Now, before we start, let's take a few minutes to think about what the word compassion means. I wonder if you've ever heard that word before and whether you know what it means. Well, take a few seconds, just in your class, put your hand up if you know what it means, and then I'll tell you what I think it means. Okay, well, I looked up compassion in a dictionary, and this is what it said. Compassion is a feeling of sharing someone's sufferings that leads to a desire to help. And this means that when we see someone who's upset, we feel upset with them. It's different from sympathy. Sympathy is when we see someone who's upset and we think, it's a shame that they're upset. But we don't feel it, we just think it. Compassion means that when we see someone who's upset, we feel upset with them. We feel what they feel. We go alongside that person who feels upset and we share their pain. Now, I've heard it said, and I don't know if you've ever heard this saying, a problem shared is a problem halved. A problem shared is a problem halved. So when we show compassion, we share that person's problems with them. Now, I'd like to tell you a story about one of God's saints, one of God's holy people, who lived this life of compassion. Her name was Mother Teresa, and this is her. She was born in Europe in a place called Skopje, which is now in the country of Macedonia. I wonder if you've heard of Macedonia. And when she was born, her name was Agnes. Agnes came from a very religious Christian family, and her family went to church every Sunday. Agnes decided that God was calling her to become a nun, and so she joined a religious community called Loreto. They sent her all the way from Skopje to India, to a city called Calcutta. I wonder if you've heard of Calcutta. When she became a nun, Agnes took a new name, Teresa, and she became called Mother Teresa. Now, as a nun, Mother Teresa did lots of good things. She taught in a school and she looked after poorly people. In Calcutta, there were lots of very, very poor people. People who had no homes. People who didn't have enough food to eat. People who couldn't afford to go to the doctors when they were sick. Mother Teresa wanted to help these people, but she realised that she couldn't help them properly if she didn't live like they lived. If she had things that they couldn't have, if she lived in a nice bit of the city while they were in the poor area, she wouldn't really be helping them in the way that God wanted her to help. So Mother Teresa started a new religious community, the Missionaries of Charity. They lived in the same part of the city as the poor people. They dressed in Indian clothes like the people they lived among, rather than wearing the clothes of the nuns wherever they were in the world. and they ate what the Indians ate, mostly rice. Some of the nuns from Loreto thought that Mother Teresa was doing too much by changing how she lived like this, and they made fun of her. But Mother Teresa didn't mind. Mother Teresa and her new nuns who joined her learned medicine so that they could care for people who couldn't otherwise afford doctors. And they wore a sari. A sari is a piece of clothing worn by Indians, and theirs was always white and blue, so they blended in with the people round them, but they also stood out. Because the people they had to look after used to beg for food, Mother Teresa made her nuns do the same, and they refused any advantage that the poor people couldn't have. Mother Teresa's work became famous, and lots of people, very famous people, wanted to talk to her and see her. She won lots of prizes, like the Nobel Peace Prize, and she even made it into a Marvel comic book. But her attention was always given to those in need. Mother Teresa was a very strong example of someone who gave up everything so that she could show compassion, so she could share in the sufferings of the people she helped. But if we want to show compassion, we don't have to give away everything like she did. In fact, Mother Teresa herself said, "We cannot all do great things, but we can all do small things with great love." I wonder, what small things could we do with great love to those that we meet in our day? People at home, people at school, our friends, our family. How can we show compassion to those around us? Take a few minutes to talk about this with your class. Okay, welcome back. I hope you've enjoyed learning about Mother Teresa, a holy woman who cared for those nobody else would care for. I'm going to finish now with a short prayer, and if you want to make it your prayer, you can say Amen at the end. So let's be quiet now. Dear God, Thank you for the example of Mother Teresa. Help us to live like she did and to care for people by sharing the problems they face. And help us not to be afraid to share our problems with other people. Amen. Well, it's been lovely to be back with you for this second half of term, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.